probably look like an absolute lunatic here with a massive Uber Eats bag on my back. Oh my god, we've got some speed puddles. Let's get some air. Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new around here, then my name is London Hustle, and today we are in a brand new city. We are in the city of Northampton. I have never been to Northampton before, and I have not done any research about this place. So if you're not from here, you're going to find out the exact same time as me. This should be pretty interesting. Oh, look at this. We're getting a first order in for £3.97 from Butterwick Bakery Coffee. Because it's the first order of the day, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Let's see how far to the restaurant. 5 minutes away. Oh, it looks a bit rough around here, I've got to say. First impressions are not so good. I've come online a little bit early. It's only 20 past 11 right now. My train just got here, so I thought there's no point sitting around doing nothing. I might as well come online and see if I can get something. And all you eagle-eyed viewers might notice that we are on a brand new bike today. This is the Cyrusher Ranger in a beautiful olive green colorway. Now, this video is not sponsored, however they did send me the bike out to test, and I thought, why not? Let's do it. Today we're going to be riding it through the streets of Northampton, and who knows, we might end up on some trails, down some alleyways, off-road. I never know when I go to new cities what's going to get thrown at me. That's why I thought this is perfect to bring this bike, because no matter what, we're going to be prepared for it. Now, the first thing I want to say about this bike is the suspension is so good. It's got both front and rear suspension, which you can really feel coming into effect going over little bumps. Now, you can change this dial here to make the forks soft like that, or you can bring it back round and make them quite firm. So depending on the terrain you're on, right now I'm going to go quite firm, not all the way, because we're riding mainly on streets here, so we don't really need the suspension. But if we end up on some off-road terrain, then we can lower that down, make it nice and easy for us. Is that 5893?
Yeah.
Thank you. First impressions, the people seem very friendly here. Oh wow, look at this, 16-minute bike ride away. That is very far for just £3. But like I said, it's still relatively early. Today's a Monday and it seems very busy. Like I said, I've done no research before coming here, so I'm not entirely sure what type of city this is. All I know is we have a 2-mile journey to this customer. Let's go. There's a £3 tip on this order, which is very generous. That's a great way to start off the shift here. Hiya, you're right. There you are. Do you have the code, please? 3-1. Awesome. Have a good day. Alright, first order of the day complete. And just take a look at this bike, guys. How stunning is this? This has got to be one of the best looking bikes I think I've ever reviewed on this channel. Now, obviously looks is a biasy thing, but for me this looks incredible. Now let me just talk you guys through some of the first points that I've noticed about this bike. It's obviously got these huge fat tires on. I've reviewed bikes with fat tires before in the past, but they're usually quite cheap fat tires, whereas these are the Kenda Crusades, which is quite a high quality tire and comes with a lot of grip all around, and I'm really feeling that on the roads, which is very nice. It'd be exciting to get on some trails with this thing and see how it controls there. But on the tarmac so far, very impressed with the grip on the road. Now I'm going to tell you guys the price of this bike, and it might shock you, but it is £2,700 currently on their website. And compared to bikes I've reviewed in the past, that might seem like it's a very expensive bike. However, you have to look at the category this bike is in. It's an all-terrain e-bike, designed for going off-road, on trails, and when you start to look at e-bikes in that category, this actually falls down into the lower cost e-bikes. I'm going to talk you through some of the parts on the bike in a little while and show you how they've managed to keep that cost down while still delivering what seems to be a very good bike. Now, the bike I'm currently on has a 250 watt Bafang motor. However, you can get one with a 750 watt motor for the same price if you're outside of the EU and you're allowed motors up to that size, or if you're going to be riding it off-road on private land. But I really like the fact it comes with a Bafang motor. Bafang is top of their class when it comes to e-bikes and motors. It's not your cheap Chinese motors, which a lot of low-budget e-bikes do have. That is one space they have not cut costs on, and I think that's very important. Now, this bike is extremely heavy. I'll put the weight of it up on screen now. So if you're living in an apartment building, or you're going to have to constantly carry this upstairs and around on and off the trains, for example, then you're going to need to have a bit of strength behind you, because it is a very heavy bike. And most of that weight comes down here in the down tube. This bike has a 52 volt 20 amp hour battery, which is massive. And the reason they went for a battery so big is they want this bike to be able to cover a lot of range. If you're going to be going out on trails for a few hours at a time, they want you to go out, enjoy the trails, and be able to ride back home with some battery left. But I think that's a trade-off that I'm quite happy with. I don't mind a lot of weight. It makes me feel very grounded to the road. very secure. I keep going to call this place Nottingham. It's Northampton. I need to keep getting that right. But so far, it seems very derelict, a little bit run down, but the roads are very smooth and nice to ride on. I've seen a lot of sofas in people's front gardens, which is a little bit peculiar. I thought that's more something they do up in Liverpool. It's early on still, we've got a lot of this city still to explore, which I am very excited for. Currently heading back in towards the city centre. Let's try and get ourselves another order. Here we go, yeah, look, there's a McDonald's down there, German doner kebab, KFC, Taco Bell, cool. So this is probably the area to be. Although I'm really surprised because I haven't seen any other delivery drivers about yet. Here we go, there's a few waiting outside McDonald's now. These are the first ones I'm seeing though so far. Oh, here we go, we're getting a Starbucks order come in now. It's been a while since I've done a Starbucks order. They're a bit hit and miss because it's obviously coffee, you don't want to get any spillages. Gonna take this one though. Something I'm really loving about this bike, the pedal assist is run off a torque sensor rather than a cadence sensor. Now, if you have no idea what that means, then that's absolutely fine because I never used to know either. Let me try to explain it a little bit for you here. So a cadence sensor is essentially a ring of little magnets spaced evenly, and then there's a sensor on your bike that goes down by your pedal, and then there's a sensor that's permanently attached to the frame of the bike. And what happens is every time you pedal, these little metal dots pass through the sensor. The sensor then tells the controller in the bike, oh, we're going now, we need to start moving the motor. So then it sends the signal down into the motor and the motor kicks in. The problem with that is it takes a full rotation for the message to get sent to the motor, which means there's always that delay when starting off from the bike. And if you're at a traffic light with lots of different cars around, then it can become quite dangerous. Whereas a torque sensor works by the pressure you put on the pedals, and I've noticed it kicks in a lot faster. I feel much safer when taking off from a standstill on this bike than I have with any other bike I've tested before. And one of the other claims that they make on their website, which we will find out in due course, is apparently a torque sensor helps relieve some pressure off the battery and can give you more range, which if that's the case, then for deliveries that's perfect. When doing deliveries you want to be out for as long as possible ideally without having to go back and recharge. So if by using a torque sensor we can get more range, that sounds brilliant to me. Right, I've missed my turn in here. Let's go this way. Oh my god, this is chaotic. I need to turn back this way. Oh no, Starbucks is over there. It's always fun and games going to a new city. Google Maps always gives you the weirdest routes to take when there's a much more simpler one on hand. 4 items: chocolate caramel shortbread, a mocha, a wrap and a ginger shot. Okay, just the one coffee done. There you go, thank you so much, have a good day. I tried to manipulate my bag in a way where the order shouldn't move around too much. Looking at the customer's really close. For some reason Google's giving me this really windy twist around route to the customer, and it's telling me it's going to take 8 minutes, but from what I'm seeing on the map there is a much faster route than that, so we'll see. As much as I'm complaining right now about the route Google's giving me, it's always fun coming to a new city, trying out new areas to deliver to see what it's like. So if there is somewhere in mind that you guys want to see me deliver, then feel free to drop it down in the comments below. I do go through and read all of them, and I will try to get to as many of your suggestions as possible. Every time I come to a new city it takes me down some weird alleyway. One of these days the video is going to end up not coming out and you're going to see London hustle on the news. Oh, look at this. We're going over a canal. Now, you know, the last time I came to a new city, encountered a canal, things did not go our way. This one does look pretty full. I don't think it's going to be flooded. It's actually quite a nice little bike ride, this. It's very peaceful, there's not many people. As soon as you get away from the city centre, it's very relaxing, it's very nice. Hi mate, you're right. Do you have the code please? 52. Perfect mate, enjoy. See ya. There we go. Thankfully there was no spillage there. What I'm seeming to notice though is it's a very similar scenario to what we had in Leicester, that all the restaurants are in the city centre. So every time you go off and do an order, you don't need to come back into the city centre to get another one. Oh man, these massive tyres make things like curves an absolute breeze. It's just at 12, so I'm hoping it's going to be busy. I'm from Sam's Chicken. Paying the minimum, but the customer's nice and close, and I'm just next to the restaurant as well, so I'm going to do this. Right mate, I've got 3002. Cheers mate, thank you. Look at this. The customer is 1 minute away. That is so close. It's probably going to take us less than a minute on this bike, I'd imagine. Oh, look at this. £3.35 from Taco Bell. I'm going to take that as well. And I don't consider that as cross-apping, because when you usually get close to a customer anyway, you can start to begin other orders. So, like I said, this customer's 20 seconds around this corner. And then we're going to be straight onto another order, which is really nice. Going back to Sam's Chicken, what they did was they handed me the cans separately instead of inside the bag. And the reason I like that is because the can's freezing cold and the food's nice and warm. So when places put them together, it just doesn't make sense, because you start to heat up the cold drink and you start to cool down the hot food. So I appreciate that they gave them to me separately. Now let's go get it to the customer. Hi mate, is your delivery driver just outside?
Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah,
cheers, thank you. Hi mate, you're right. There you are. Got your drink as well. Do you have the code, please?
1, 2.
1, 2. Perfect. Thank you, mate. Enjoy your food. Oh man, we are flying at the minute. I'm really enjoying this so far. Now we're going to head back over to where we were to pick up from Taco Bell. That delivery was to a student accommodation. They can be pretty hit and miss. You guys probably know what students were like. I mean, I was one myself. You guys might even be a student yourself, but they never seem to be there waiting. They always take a little while to come down and collect their food. I feel like I'm glued to the roads. It's just so smooth over every little bump. Now it is limited to 15.5 miles an hour in accordance with the UK laws. However, you can achieve speeds higher just based off your own propulsion or gravity if you're going down hills. So the motor will only assist you up to 15.5, but you can go faster. Pardon?
Nice bike.
Thank you. Yeah. It's massive, ain't it? The tyres are huge. Had a feeling we'd get some compliments on that bike today. It just looks so nice. Alright mate, got an order for Catherine. Awesome. Cheers mate, thank you. This city's turning out to be pretty good. Tell you what, Northampton is turning out to be pretty darn good. Had some pretty decent orders come in so far. Everyone's been very friendly. We got a nice £3 tip. The restaurants seem pretty on it with their orders. So far, only positive things to say. One little downside to this bike I've noticed, and I think it's an area where they decided to cut costs, is the brakes. So these are Logan brakes. They are hydraulic disc brakes, which you would expect for a bike so big and powerful, but they're not as sharp and punchy as I would like, especially when you consider this bike is designed to go off-road and on trails. I've done a lot of mountain bike in the past, and I've always used Shimano hydraulic disc brakes. They're personally my favorite, and I find them to be the most responsive and punchy. And I feel one with the bike, I feel in total control. Don't get me wrong, I feel nice and in control with this bike, but I just wish the brakes were that little bit more punchy. And I think this company, what they've done is they've chosen areas which are very easy to upgrade for a consumer. So I think they've thought it out about areas, they've saved the costs, which I do like. I mean, disc brakes are one of the easiest parts of a bike to replace and upgrade, which is definitely what I'll be doing with this. I'll be putting myself some Shimano disc brakes on here. That's one of the areas I would recommend upgrading on this bike if you did decide to get one. Like I said, this video is not sponsored. I will leave a link down below to the website, and just in case you're curious. I know a lot of you are bike fans just like me, which is why I love doing these videos. We're up to 18 miles an hour now. We're putting in a lot of legwork down here. 20. Can we get 21? 21? Come on, 22. There we go. Come on, give me more. 23. We're putting in the power here. But man, this bike is very fun. I can only imagine what the 750 watt motor unrestricted would feel like. That would be so fun to try out. Oh my god, it's one of these delivery robots. I've never seen these before. This guy's gonna steal my job. Look at that, that's crazy. I've never seen that. Wow, I've only seen that online in America. I never knew it was here in the UK. Little it's gonna steal my job. Hi, you're right. There you go. You're more than welcome. Perfect. Thank you so much. Enjoy. I felt a little bit weird asking to take a photo because she was in a nightgown, but she was okay with it. This looks like bike trails. What is that? Oh my god, I have to find out what this is. Look at this. Oh my god, it's so muddy. Oh my god. Sure, we have to go around this. I am going to get covered up in mud though. Oh, this is going to be horrible, isn't it? They didn't send me out any mud guards with this bike, which I really wish they did. But while I'm here, how can I not? Oh my god, it's wet. Oh my god, look how big some of those jumps are. That's crazy. Oh, it's bumpy. Add a bit more sponge into the front forks. Oh, that's much softer. What are the odds? I was just driving around trying to pick up an order. We've ended up on a bike trail. This is so cool. We're getting a Deliveroo order come through. £4.94. You know what, guys? I'm just gonna have a little bit of fun here before doing some more deliveries. So that's a jet black, which I think is a really advanced trail, but that's closed off. What's this one? Red. Trail type, a flow jump trail with high frequency of unavoidable features, extra large berms, tabletop jumps, high jumps, and step downs. Right. We're not gonna go on that one for now. Let's try the Blue Nun. The Blue Nun sounds intermediate. If we do okay on the Blue Nun, we're gonna try the A45. Before we get going, let me show you guys here. So we have central suspension here. I currently had it off. You just flick this blue nozzle here. And now, let's see. Yeah, that central suspension is now engaged. I believe you can set the PSI inside to your liking. I just left it how it came from the factory. So without further ado, I probably look like an absolute lunatic here with a massive UberEats bag on my back. Oh my God, we've got some speed puddles. Oh my God, this is, oh, we got some air there around the corner. Okay, we got some little hips coming up. Oh, we cased that one. This bike is so heavy that it's pretty hard to jump it, and I've only got my level. Oh, we went shallow on that one. Came out high. Woohoo. Trail's probably a little bit more wet than I would like right now, but this is fun. Oh my God. Oh, this is awesome, man. Let's go. Oh, these berms are so nice. More berms. This trail flows so nicely. Woohoo. I think we're at the bottom. Yes, we are. Oh my God, that was so fun. Yeah, I think that lap I just did there made it more clear to me that I need to upgrade these brakes. We were going into some of the turns and I just wanted to give a little dab on the brake to slow myself down. But because the way the brakes are, it didn't give me the control that I wanted. If you're riding trails, this bike is amazing because right now we're having to climb back up to the start. I'm putting in very little effort here and we are just climbing with ease. I can really see how this bike would appeal to a lot of riders. You'll just be able to get more laps on a trail like this with an e-bike compared to a regular one because you're going to be putting so much more effort in to come back up to the top. I think we're going to give the red trail a go. I'm going to go very cautiously and very slow to begin with, just to see. All right, a nice slow run to begin with. Woohoo, this is immediately much bigger and steeper. I am not jumping that. Oh, woohoo, this is much bigger. Big jump here. We'll just roll everything for now. Oh man. Oh, we got good air there. Let's get some air. Okay, maybe red is a little bit challenging for me. Oh, but man, this thing is a blast on the trail. We're just gonna roll everything like we said we're gonna do. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Oh, what a fun time this is though. Here we go. Yeah, we're gonna roll back out to the start. Oh my God, I almost went arse over tits on one of those jumps. That would have been hilarious for the video, but not so fun for myself because, to be honest with you guys, I have no idea where I am and there's no one else around right now. I'd recommend sticking around on the video because it's probably inevitable that I'm gonna fall off and you probably don't want to miss that. Right, which way do we go? Let's go inside this time. And then inside again. Oh yeah, big puddle, let's avoid that. Back around the end berm. Oh, very fun. Just a short little trail there. Let me know down below, guys, do you enjoy these types of videos where it's not just delivering, we have a little bit of fun as well? I'd really love to have someone else with me to get some external shots, but unfortunately it's just me, myself and I. One camera, so I'm gonna do my best, but I think this would be so cool to have someone else filming, especially if we fall off. I wanna have multiple angles of that. It's this trail for you. So this is a beginner trail. I really love this type of riding though. There's a few YouTubers I love to watch. Seth Bikes Hacks, I think he's renamed his channel to Burn Peak. And there's a, oh, forgive me, is it Matt Jones? Matt something? I think it's Matt Jones. That might be a guy in a boy band, I'm not sure. But he's insane doing downhill riding. He's very fun to watch. He did a video recently where he got helicoptered to the top of a mountain and was mountain bike down that. So we're not quite at that level yet on this channel, but getting to see people do those sorts of rides and then doing something like this, which is a little bit similar, it's very fun, something I've always wanted to do. I had no idea this trail was here. I literally just came here because I saw a few comments asking me to come here and deliver, and we've stumbled upon an absolute gem of a place. We're at the top of a very big hill right now. I think that's all of Northampton in the background. Oh my God, I'm looking at myself now. I am caked in mud. I really should have got those mud guards. Right, not much we can do about it now. Let's go hit this trail. Oh, big water, big water. Oh. Right, oh my God, okay. This is not as fun, there's more puddles here. Hopefully this is not gonna be a reoccurring theme. It looks like it is. I don't see any more puddles for a little while. Let's attack this. Oh, I say no more puddles, and I think I've gone in the muddiest part of the entire track. Right in the drain away spot. Oh my God, I'm such a muppet. Why did I do that? Right, now the bike is seriously covered in mud. Just to show you guys what I mean. Look at that. I'm sure my back is caked right now. Oh, it's all fun and games, isn't it? Oh, we got all the gravel flying off the bike right now. Oh my God. These berms are so good. Oh, that's so fun. I think these massive tyres helped us out massively there, because the berms, although they look really rough, they have lots of big stones in them. When you go over it with the big tyres, you can't feel it, and it's actually quite smooth and enjoyable. It's really not going to show on camera, I don't think, but some of those jumps are crazy on the black trail. It'd have been cool if there were other people here we could see ride those. I am caked in mud. Oh my God. Guys, take a look at the back of my UberEats bag. I'm gonna have to give that a good wipe down, but it was worth it. I'm covered in mud as well, but let's just come off my trousers. Oh my God. Right, I'm gonna try to clean myself up a little bit here, and then I'll be back with you guys. I just want to show you guys this, because this is pretty awesome though. So you've got a bike workstation here, where it's got all the tools necessary to work on your bike, which I think is pretty cool. This place is called the Northampton Bike Park. There's a map of it just up here. If anyone is in the area or around, you might never have known about this, and come check it out. That was fun, man. That was really fun. And look over here, they've got like a medical station and stuff. I really wish they had a bike wash, because we're very muddy right now. That is not ideal. I am going to have to get back on the train with this bike. Right, let's head back in towards the city centre. Riding back in towards the city centre, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the bike. So up front here we have a smart LCD display, which is really nice. You can see all the information you need to know. You can see how many miles you've done. You can see your battery life. You can see how fast you're going, what level of assist you're in. We'll talk about that in a second. And right now we're on 77% battery left, which is very impressive, because we've done 22 miles on this thing. We've still got 77% battery left. When I've done about 22 miles on bikes before, we're looking at least half a battery, if not even less. So I think having that torque sensor really helps with the battery life. And then coming over to the pedal assist levels, this bike actually has 5 different levels of assist, 1 being the least, 5 being the highest. And I'll be honest with you guys, 1 or 2 is more than enough on this bike, especially when it's limited to 15.5 miles an hour. Now, if you're on the bike that has the 750 watt motor, then I imagine those higher levels of assist will come into play a little bit more. We also have a Shimano 9-speed cassette on the rear wheel, which is quite nice, because a lot of bikes only have a 6-speed cassette, sometimes a 7. Having a 9-speed gives you a little more range to be able to play around and get the right setting for you. If you're climbing up rough terrain, you want to be down in that 1, but if you're bombing it down a road or track, and you really want to get some power behind each stroke, then being able to go up into that 9th gear is going to make a huge difference. Hello guys. Oh my God, they are so cute. Oh, one of them's wafting their tail at me. Look how muddy it is over there, that's crazy. I'm myself in a car park again. Seems to be a little bit of a theme on this channel. Oh, what a view that is though, look at that. Right guys, unfortunately no more orders came through, and looking at the state of my bike and the state of myself, I don't think I'm in any state to do deliveries. I'm not sure if you'd want your delivery driver rocking up covered in mud. Probably not the most hygienic thing in the world, so yeah, we're gonna call it there for deliveries. But man, What a fun day it's been. Northampton has been an absolute blast. We had some really good deliveries to start off the day, then we found some amazing bike trails. So just to round off the video, you guys know when we get a new bike, we like to do a little segment at the end where we give the bike some ratings and I give a little bit of feedback. You can see it's just dripping with mud. That's hilarious, man. The Cyrusher Ranger. I have to say, this is probably the funnest bike I have ever used. So let's score it out of practicality first. Pardon the pun, but I thought the weight of this was going to weigh down the score in practicality, because when you call yourself an all-terrain bike, I imagine yourself going down some trails, hitting some jumps if you're capable of that. I'm someone who's very comfortable riding off-road, but when it comes to jumps, that is not my forte. And I have never hit jumps before. So riding them for the first time on this thing and I actually got some air. It was pretty cool. So if you're someone who has a little bit of experience or wants to learn, I think you'd have no problem clearing some jumps and getting some air on this bike, which was one of my main concerns. So now that that's been wiped out the way, practicality, I've got to give this an 8.5. It feels very solid on the roads. The battery's insane. Like we've done 25 miles. I've only charged this thing once and we still got 73% left, which is just an incredible range on a bike like this. It means you can have hours of fun or work for hours on it. And that's something I love about the videos that I do. Like today, we not only proved that you can work on this bike and it's practical to work on, but you can also go out and have fun. Next, let's talk about comfort. You guys know that I love myself a fat tire. It makes all the bumps and holes in the roads a lot less significant. And as you saw when we went around the berms, with the rocks poking out and it was a little bit rough, to me it felt very smooth, and that is mainly down to the tires. Now obviously this bike has front and rear suspension, which is very nice and does add to comfortability. I like the fact that you have a lot of adjustability in the front fork and you can get it to suit your needs. Just want to let you guys know though that they are not the most expensive forks in the world. They're a pretty basic fork, and if you're looking to get a bit more serious, it might be something you upgrade in the future, but they will and do the job. The only thing that I'm not a big fan of is the turn radius. You've seen it on bikes before, but you can only turn to sort of a, what is that, about a 70-degree angle either way. So if you're in a tight turn, then you're gonna have to do a lot of maneuvering to get out, and you're not going to be hitting jumps and doing bar spins anytime soon on this thing. But for riding around the streets and hitting most trails, you're not going to notice that. Let's talk about the rear suspension. So back here you have on off, very simple to use, and you can dial it in to what suits your needs. And I've always been a bit skeptical about rear suspension on a bike, and I think half the time it's there just to say they have it or look good, whereas on this bike it actually makes a difference. If you're going to be going between riding on the road and then hitting trails, having the easy adjustability to switch it on and off is amazing. If you're riding on the roads with suspension on, every time you pedal, you're going to be transferring energy down to here instead of propelling it forwards to move you, which you don't want. You're just going to be wasting energy that way. So it's nice to be able to switch it on and off very easily. I've got to say, it's one of the most comfiest bikes I've ever ridden. Only downside to comfort really, and it's not even that big of a deal, is the grips. The grips are pretty I can't lie. They're just basic grips. When you consider the cost of the bike and the category that it's in, you can see why they had to cut costs in certain areas. And this is what I said earlier when I think they were smart with where they cut cost. Grips is a very personal thing. Everyone likes their own different grips. So chances are people are going to change them out anyway. So why would they spend a lot of money on nice grips that people are inevitably going to change out? So yeah, the grips aren't the best. But apart from that, it's a very comfortable bike, and I would score it a 9.5. Now, moving on to the enjoyability factor. I think just looking at the bike and the state it's in, I had an absolute blast. I don't think there's any way that I can really say I didn't enjoy this bike. I worked on it and made money, had no issues doing deliveries, and I hit the trails and had a lot of fun. So enjoyability, this is probably the most enjoyable bike I've ever ridden, and for that reason, I think this is the first bike that I'm actually going to give a 10 to, which I didn't think that would ever happen on this channel. I'm going to have to give it a 10. Now, while I make my way back to the train station, a few little notes I want to make about when I received this bike in the box, and some little notes to the company that I think they could improve upon. Attaching the handlebars to the stem, very difficult because they give you two separate plates, whereas most bikes give you one. Having two makes it much harder to attach. There's just more places for things to go wrong. It might be a way they were saving costs, but I think they should really replace that for one solid piece of metal, make it much easier to install and less things can go wrong. Second of all, and this is just my OCD, but why make such a beautiful bike with beautiful paintwork, and then on the bolts is white paint? Now I think they did this so when they're reassembling the bike they can get them back into the same spot, but one of their main selling points on their website was how nice the paintwork is, and then they've just gone and ruined it and painted painted white over the bolts, and I just think it looks a little bit ugly. It might wash off, I've not tried. I'm gonna spend like 2.7k on a bike. I would want it to show up looking pretty nice without white paint marks all over it. That's just my OCD there. And the next point is actually quite significant. Down below where the pedals are, there is a plastic plate. Behind that plate is where they store all the wires and the controller for the bike. Now, you can undo it with Allen keys, get access in there. When I first received the bike, I noticed that one of the wires was trapped in between the plastic casing and the frame for the bike. So it was actually squashing one of the wires. So whoever assembled this bike didn't take enough care when putting the wires in and closing them off, which has then led to one of the wires being crumpled. Now, luckily it hasn't affected or damaged the wire and it still operates, but when you're gonna spend this amount of money on a bike, I would be expecting it to come without damaged wires. It's a human mistake. I'm sure that doesn't happen on every single bike. I probably just got unlucky. And if you've ordered bikes before, you'll know they're never gonna be perfect out of the box. You're always gonna have to make fine tunes, but something like a wire being trapped, that's quite a big deal. So yeah, I think just they need to pay a little bit more attention when packaging up the bikes. But apart from that, I had a lot of fun. Sorry if you wanted to see me do more deliveries here in Northampton. Maybe I'll come back another day and dedicate myself to just doing deliveries. But if you did enjoy today's video, then be sure to drop a like down below. If you're not already, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much to all my Patreon members. And like always, thank you for watching.